Women are demanding that society not treat them like men. They said, guys, we don't want you. Guys, we don't need you. We'd rather the beer. And now they're saying that we don't want to be treated like you. Talk about a crazy level of hypocrisy. Today's video comes from Lynn Everly. Her channel will be linked in the description of the video so that you can go check her out. Watch to the end of the video to fully understand the implications of women now demanding that society not treat them like men, meaning they should be given all the privileges, all the rights that men have, but none of the accountability or responsibilities. You see that, guys? And what do we know? Responsibility without responsibility without authority is SLAVERY. So watch it in the video to fully understand the implications of this happening and how society is going to change and how men are going to react as a result of this. Don't forget to follow us on Rumble. You never really know what can happen on this platform. So follow us on Rumble. It'll be linked in the description of the video. And now let's just go ahead and jump right into the video after a message from Angry's Crypto Academy.
Where if you ask people the difference between a man and a woman, they don't even know the answer.
Is there a difference between men and women?
No, we're all equal.
What are the differences between men and women?
Genital parts, obviously. That's pretty much it.
Our Western society wants men and women to be exactly the same, and modern feminists often don't see any value in traditional gender roles. Or they go even further. They think that women should rule the world now instead of men. They think that men have had their time and it's their turn now, introducing the matriarchy. They claim that women can do everything a man can do, but men can do everything a woman can do.
You think a woman can do anything that a man can do?
Yeah, sure.
Do you think a man can do anything a woman can do?
No.
I mean, seriously, how do their minds even work? I mean, there are so many cold hard facts that prove that this is not the case. One of the biggest differences between men and women is upper body strength. The average man is significantly stronger than the average woman, which makes it very hard for women to do certain physical jobs. And of course, there are always exceptions and this is not absolute. But believe me, most women would cry if they had to work at an oil rig for a day, including me. And I'm not at all saying that men and women aren't equal, but they are different and they do bring a different kind of value to the world and to a relationship. But the feminists of today completely deny this fact, and I also think that they're very hypocritical. Because when it comes to the high-paying office jobs, women are invaluable and we should have more of them, and they bring such a positive energy to the workforce. Everything needs to be 50-50, even if women aren't even applying to the software engineering job. We're still striving for 50% female software engineers. But when it comes to the hard physical jobs like bricklaying or construction work, there are no quotas. Then all of a sudden we remembered that men and women are different after all. So in some contexts, feminists want to eliminate double standards. But when it suits them, double standards are not a problem. Another difference between men and women is their fertility window. Men have a much broader fertility window. Men continue to produce sperm throughout their lives, although the quality and the quantity does decline with age. Women, on the other hand, have a much smaller fertility window than men. Women are most fertile from 18 to 30 years old. After 30, conceiving is still possible, but it does start to decline. And by 40 years old, the chance of natural conception in a given month is about 5%. Now, what shocks me the most is that this kind of information is not even obvious to many people in today's world. I've been in conversations where people basically denied that this information is even true. They literally almost got angry with me for pointing it out. It's crazy to me that we live in a society now where it's controversial to point out the obvious. Up until recently in our modern history, everyone knew this to be true and this was completely normal. Women got married in their early 20s because that's when they're most fertile. But now, women are expected, just like men, to get a degree and a career, which takes a lot of time. But the question is, do women even have that time? Sometimes maybe, but sometimes they don't. I think in general, this life path is much better suited to men. Because like I said earlier, their fertility window is much broader than a woman's. Plus the fact that they're not the ones getting pregnant. They don't have the burden of carrying a child. Another thing we tell young girls is that if you marry too young, you're wasting your younger years and you're making an impulsive mistake. It's almost frowned upon. The core message today is that women shouldn't be reliant on men, whether that be emotionally or financially. Because what if he turns out to be a bad husband and you can't escape him? Now, in all fairness, I don't think we should dismiss this point entirely. Because the fact is, there are abusive and bad husbands out there. And it's not just that. There are also just a lot of immature men nowadays. Men had to grow up a lot faster 100 years ago simply because life was a lot harder back then. You know that saying, tough times create strong men and easy times create weak men? It sounds very cliche, but I think there's a lot of truth to it. And I'm not saying that men are the only ones who are immature in today's world. Women are just as immature, just as I have mentioned in many of my videos. But the point I'm trying to make here is that instead of teaching young girls that they shouldn't depend on men, it's better to teach them what to actually look for in a healthy relationship.
Now, to be very clear and to be very honest, what this really amounts to is saying that, you know, ladies, feminism got us everything that we wanted. Now let's fight it together. Feminism got us everything that we wanted. Now let's fight for one another. I've been saying this for almost 10 years now that women were going to begin rejecting feminism in label potentially, but not in legacy. So I said, while the label feminism may go away, the legacy of feminism would live on. Feminism would never truly go away. What women are basically trying to do right now is shift responsibilities and accountability onto men while maintaining the privileges that they've received. So they want basically men to have, which is how it's always been, women to have special privilege, women to have special rights, men to have special punishments. In other words, women have privileges, men have punishments, and because we're men, that's what we are designed. That's what we're designed for. I've always said this countless times, and there are a lot of you, which are, and I'm going to say weak men, who've tried to refute me, saying that they know a lot of strong women. And these women don't need men. They're doing very, very well. They're older women and they don't need men. And it's like, hey, do these women have children? Like, have they ever been married? Do they have children? Do they have people to support them? Because in most cases, when you have single women, even some women with children, and they have no one to support them, no one to help them, they are absolutely miserable. Okay? They are lonely. They are miserable. They are pretending. They are desperate in some cases to be a part of someone else's life. It's a horrible life, guys. I've seen it countless times. It hurts. It really, really hurts seeing it. And it's like modern women, they can't control themselves in this aspect of their lives. They're pushed, they're driven to behave in this way, to think this way. And it's within every woman there's a seed of feminism. It's something that exists within all women. We know this because you can look at the Garden of Eden and you can see that Eve had everything in the Garden of Eden, and yet she still wanted more. There was nothing more for her to want, and yet she still wanted more. She wanted the unknown. She didn't know what more there was, but she did know that God could do things that she could not do. Hence, there still was more than what she already had. Do you see how insane this is? Where you have someone who's going to provide for you everything, give you everything you can imagine. There is nothing that Eve could have asked for that God could not have given to her. And even then, she still wanted more. Do you see how insane that is? If God could not make a woman happy unless he forcibly made her happy, I mean, think about it. What more was there that God could give to her? What more was there that he could do for her? There was nothing. All she had to do was ask, and would he have said no? So what she had the best man. She had the best man in the world. He was the only man in the world. She had everything. She had a place she had endless comforts. All right? She had perfect weather. There was always food. It was tropical paradise. Okay? She could have anything she wanted at any given moment, and it was not enough. So it's impossible to make women happy. It's just not going to happen. And this is why I've said countless times that men should not try to make a woman happy, because the only one who can make a woman happy is a woman. Happiness is a choice for women. And it's because women have so many choices today why they are, in many cases, so miserable. For us, if you want to be happy, guys, you have to focus on you. Women are out here, and the reason why they're making these videos is because hard times are here. Hard times are not coming. I've said it for years. Hard times were coming. Hard times are not coming anymore, guys. Hard times are here. Hard times are here. Winter is not coming. Winter is now here. It's done. We are now in winter. We are right. Winter has arrived. That's why they're panicking. Okay? Hard times have arrived. ATMs will stop working. Banks will chain the doors. And the only way that you're going to be able to protect your wealth and safeguard your future is going to be with crypto. Angry's Crypto Academy teaches you how to buy, sell, trade, and invest in crypto. And we'll tell you exactly what coins will mint you millionaires and how to spot potential coins to invest in. So don't miss out. The Academy is linked in the description of the video. Because, like I said, it's hard times are not coming. Hard times have arrived. And women, basically, guys, women don't want to pay for they got their rewards from feminism. Now they don't want to they don't want to face the consequences of feminism. Just like everything we do in life has consequences. Elections have consequences. You're right. Feminism has consequences. Were there extraordinary rewards of feminism? Yeah, of course. Women got many spoils of war from feminism, but there are also consequences, and they've been pushing off those consequences for decades because they've been subsidized by the state and subsidized by Sims. Well, guess what? That's coming to an end now, subsidized by men who've had their wealth and resources forcibly extracted through the criminal court system, family court system, divorce court. It doesn't really matter. Okay, the men have had their wealth ripped away from them and reallocated to women and the state using corruption. But now that's coming to an end as men have gotten the memo that, hey, don't be a part of this. Walk away from it. All right, because you're basically dealing with something that does not like you, a corrupt state, a corrupt government that does not like you, and honestly would prefer if you did not even exist. All right. So what women are trying to do is they don't want to face the consequences for feminism. They have everything. All right. Think about this. They have everything. And now what do they want? They want soft girl life. They want to go into soft girl era where they live lives of luxury and comfort. Not even simple lives of luxury and comfort. No, because men are naturally minimalist. So we will live. What men are doing now is men are walking away from society and living simple lives of luxury and comfort because men don't need much to survive. The average man could live happily in a shoebox at the side of the road. The average woman cannot. No, what these women are looking for is they want to live lives. They want to go into soft girl era, live lives of luxury and comfort. So they still want the 666 guy, a guy who makes above six figures, a guy who's at least 6 feet tall, a guy who has a six pack, and a guy who can deliver 6 inches. And even then, they'll still say, you know what, this guy is not enough. And of course, they will never be loyal to that guy. All right. A woman is planning her divorce before she plans her wedding. A woman is planning the exit before she even enters. All right. Before they even make it official, before she even enters, she's already planning how she's going to exit. Before she meets the man, she already knows how she's going to get out of the relationship with him and what she's going to be taking. And of course, they make it very clear that that any man who wants anything from a woman in a relationship as a little boy, he is not fit for a relationship, and they're going to shame him, call him an INCEL, and then keep it moving. Okay? And now one of the biggest things that they're talking about is a provider man. What happened to being Miss Independent? What happened to saying I'm independent? I'm, INDEPENT. You know what I mean. I probably didn't spell it right, but you get what I'm saying. They had a song, all right. What happened to Beyonce feminism? What happened to all of that? Oh, because the check has arrived. The bill, the rent is due. So the rent is now due. These women cannot pay the rent. They cannot pay the rent. A lot of them do not have parents that can subsidize them. While a lot of them are living off their mommy and daddies, a lot of them can't go back. A lot of Gen Xers are like, no, I'm not doing it. There's a lot of Gen Xers that are turning their backs on their kids right now because they're getting pissed off. This is something that I have to say about Gen Z. Gen Z they are such a bad group of people. Like, they are absolutely awful. Like, the vast majority of Gen Zers are extremely disrespectful. They have no manners and they have no common sense. And they'll quickly say, yeah, and whose fault is that? But they're extremely toxic. Gen Zers are extremely toxic. And it's like you can just see it, even their comments. Like, guys, I got a threat from a Gen Zer recently, like a day ago. I got a threat from a Gen Zer, like on a video that I made where I was talking about things that are happening in society. This little Gen Zer decided that he was going to threaten me. Okay. Like, and guys, like by some, like, borderline homeless Gen Zer. Like, this is how they think. All right, and I'll show you the message I got from this little punk. He says, I was born in 97, the first of Gen Z. I've already told you, the oldest of the Gen Z generation, they're the absolute worst. Let's continue. And he says, I have been homeless 4 times, all caused by my toxic, evil, abusive family. I wasn't allowed to get a job in high school, and since I was made homeless on my birthday, I couldn't pay my truancy fines. Says, oh, so I guess for being homeless. I almost went to jail for it. And since I still can't afford a diploma, I can't even get a job that pays enough to save for it. I'm screwed. And please don't insult my life, because your channel is easy to take down because of how much YouTube hates you. I like your channel, but don't group us all together. I'm not lazy. I just don't know what to do. Guys, this kid is absolutely a punk. This kid is an absolute and utter punk. I'm gonna tell you guys something. I don't like Gen Z. I do not like Gen Zers. But I've had Gen Zers who've reached out to me and have shared with me hardships in their lives. And I've actually done something, whatever I could, to try to help them personally. And I don't talk about it because I don't want to put it out there, and I also don't want people coming to me like, "Hey, Angry, I want some help." The answer is no. All right. I'm not running a charity. But I've helped people before. I have, you know, as a YouTuber, and it just like, and this is how you come. This is the kind of energy you come with a threat that you're going to try to take me out. I mean, I have an attorney. I mean, you can try. I have an attorney. It's interesting when, though you can come after a YouTuber who's public, but no one knows who you are because you're a keyboard warrior, and you're a person who's been homeless multiple times, and you're suffering and struggling. And instead of being humble and saying, I know, like, how you feel about all of us, but please don't group us all together. I'm really out here trying, but I understand why you feel that way. No, you're like, okay, no, I'm going to try to I can take away your livelihood just like that. No, you can try. there there are many who have tried, but you're going to come at me with this type of energy. And I'm just giving you an example of how your typical Gen Zer thinks. This is your typical Gen Zer. This is how they think. All right. And this is how it's a form of extraordinary narcissism that we're seeing from this generation of young people. And they don't take any accountability for the choices and decisions that they've made. Were they screwed over by the boomers? Absolutely. All of us were screwed over by the boomers. The boomers have destroyed this entire world, and they will never take a shred of accountability for any of it. Those of the same boomers who tell us that we need to be accountable for everything are the same boomers who are becoming the fastest group of people becoming homeless, while blaming everyone and saying that they are perfect, they did everything right, and even calling themselves the greatest generation. They claim that they rebuilt the world after WW2. Here's the guys, the people who fought in WW2 were the greatest generation, not the silent generation. The silent generation did not fight in WW2. How do we know this? Because they were too young. The silent generation was born in the 1930s. So by the 1930s, I think it was like the very, some of them was like the late 20s and 1930s. So they were all too young to actually be involved in WW2. They didn't not, like virtually none of them fought in WW2. It was the entire thing was fought by the greatest generation, and the world was rebuilt by the greatest generation. Okay? It was not rebuilt by the silent generation. The oldest of the silent generation were like 18 and 19 years old, you know, like when the war came to an end. They did not rebuild the world. The world was completely rebuilt. The greatest generation fought the major wars, and they're the ones who rebuilt the world. And then the boomers try to take credit for all of it. So I understand why people are pissed off with them. And I understand why Gen Z would be pissed off with them. But Gen Z has no manners. They have literally no manners. They have literally no self-control, and they're too far gone. They are way, way too far gone. These people are absolutely mad. Absolutely, man. And we see a lot of that narcissism with modern women because modern women, there's a check, there's a bill to pay. So they're like, oh, we should not treat women like men. But women have all the same rights as men. Women have all the same privileges. Women need to have the same responsibilities. Okay, they absolutely must. It's absolute nonsense. Why should men have to risk their lives going into, like, whenever there is a fire related situation? Why should men have to risk their lives for all of that? Okay, but then we're called equal. Why is it that the military women could serve in every job in the military now? So why is it that they shouldn't be drafted in equal numbers to men? And keep in mind, they hold the vast majority of college degrees now, so they are better educated than the average man. So if they are better educated than the average man, all right, and they are superior to men, like there are things that they can do everything that a man can do, but men cannot do everything that a woman can do, then why the hell aren't women serving, and why aren't women in more positions where they have to take the responsibilities for protecting and for protecting society? Because they don't want response they don't guys, they don't want to shoulder the burdens. And these are the same people who say that men have a duty to protect society, a duty, while women should have a choice. So, in other words, women have special privileges, men have special punishments, and by the very virtue of being born a man, you're basically required. These are requirements made upon you. Women they don't seem to understand, nor do they really care, that that is SLAVERY. In fact, they consciously know it's SLAVERY. They do not care. They do not care. And again, they think that they are superior to us. It's a very, very serious issue that we face with women in Western society. Women in Western society think that they are superior to us, which is one of the reasons why I keep on telling you guys to learn how to do day trading, crypto day trading. We have the crypto day trading blueprint in the academy, and we teach you guys how to do crypto day trading so that you can basically get your bag and prepare for hard times, which are now here. It's not coming anymore, it's here. Let me tell you guys a little bit more about the crypto day trading course real quickly, because I want you guys to go and hop on it. And we actually have a sale going on in the academy right now. And with the sale, you're actually able to save a lot. It's available to the crypto day trading course for dummies. So basically, we teach you the most simple strategies for day trading. You can make hundreds of dollars a day with very little investment doing this, and replace your full-time job. All right. So, with the blueprint, you'll learn how crypto day trading can help you earn daily profits, even starting small. Imagine making hundreds daily, trading small amounts and working just an hour a day. And it's written so simply that even a fifth grader can do it. And with banks collapsing and the economy in chaos, the skill is your lifeline. So you can click the link in the description to check that out. It's the crypto day trading for dummies blueprint, and that's actually available for bootcamp members. You get lots of benefits as a bootcamp member, including portfolio reviews. So check that out. I mean, guys, modern women, they don't even most modern women won't even get into crypto because they don't even know how. Crypto is complicated. Crypto is extremely complicated. It's much easier now to do crypto than it was in the past. Like, you can go into an exchange and it's a lot easier to purchase. Back in the old days, you had to do like calculations. You had to pull out the calculator, and if you were off by just a little bit, you could lose $1,000 or thousands of dollars. Like, you had to math like back in the old days. Those were exciting times, bro. Those were really, really exciting times. But even now, for a lot of women, they're just not going to do it because they're adverse to risk. Will women jump into crypto? They absolutely will. Most women are not into crypto, but as they realize that's where the money is at, you're going to have a substantial number of women jumping into crypto. You're going to have the baby boomers rushing into crypto. That's where it's at. Your baby boomer parents asking you how they can get some Bitcoin. I'm being very honest with you. A lot of them are going to get into Bitcoin using ETFs though. Like, because that's, they're going to get into crypto because, like, you have the first crypto ETFs coming out possibly this year. Like, right now they're pending approval, but they're Bitcoin ETFs, Ethereum ETFs, and some others. There's actually there's an ETF coming, which I've said this is my favorite coin, and I've said before that everyone should have some of this coin. Everyone should hold at least one of these specific coins, because this coin is going to skyrocket in value. And it will not surprise me if Trump ends up doing something like diversifying the crypto reserve. So not just holding Bitcoin, but holding different coins. so that it's not all centralized in one place. So in addition to so he'll create a Bitcoin, he'll create a crypto reserve, but that crypto reserve he was said would be like $1 trillion in Bitcoin. It won't surprise me if he says, well, what we're going to do is we're going to have, let's say, 750 billion dollars, $750 billion in Bitcoin, and then we're going to also have, like, 250 billion in other reserve currencies. And there's one coin amongst those that you all need to know about, and we talk about that in the academy. There's a what the because, like, guys, this is hard times. And for the crypto naysayers amongst us that are constantly telling you, don't believe, don't listen, it's a scam. These are the people that are going to be in TTTs, Tyrone 10 TTCs, Tyrone 10 cities. That was a term someone came up with recently, but it's true. Tyrone 10 cities. Your butt is gonna end up in a Tyrone 10 city. You're gonna be in there crying in Tyrone 10 city, and we know that Tyrone is the king of 10 city, and it's gonna be miserable. The conditions are gonna be miserable. You're gonna be miserable, and you're gonna have to deal with it. And like I said, there's a specific crypto right now that a lot of people don't know about. They have not invested in. And once you get into this, even just holding a single one of these coins could be the difference between survival for you. Because in the future, just one of these coins, holding one, not it's not Bitcoin, just one of these coins could ensure that you will be able to survive indefinitely. I have most of my wealth, like, I'm so sure about this coin. Most of my income, most of my savings is in this coin. And I'm still buying more, buying more, buying more as much as I can because I'm that certain about this coin. And I have money in the bank. I've got a decent amount of money in the bank. I've got, a good amount of money stored at home because I'm prepared for these hard times. I've been preparing for a minute. I wish I could have even prepared even harder, but I was sick for a couple of years. But yeah, I'm not playing around, and then I've got most of my assets in this specific coin. I have a diversified crypto portfolio, but like around 80 to 85% of my portfolio is in this coin. I have a massive amount of money in this coin because I am that certain that this coin is going to skyrocket in value. Like, it's basically Bitcoin. It's often called, like it complements Bitcoin in many ways. But yeah, ask you something. When the banks collapse, and trust me, it's coming, will you be ready? Imagine waking up to ATMs that don't work, bank doors chained shut, and millions of people left with nothing. No cash, no access to their savings, and no way to survive. But it doesn't have to be that way for you. That's why I created Angry's Crypto Academy, to teach you everything you need to know about crypto so you can protect yourself and your family. You'll learn how to buy, sell, and even day trade crypto for a living. Plus, we alert you to new crypto trends so you can profit before everyone else even knows what's happening. Right now, I've just published an exclusive investment guide inside the Academy, and it's linked in the description below. In it, I reveal the one coin that could make you a millionaire. A coin so revolutionary, it could change everything. If you missed out on Bitcoin and Ethereum, this is your second chance. This isn't just about financial freedom. It's about survival. When the system collapses and everyone else is selling, you'll be the one buying, prepared to weather the storm and thrive while others struggle to survive. Don't wait. This knowledge isn't optional, it's critical. The link's in the description. Go check it out now.
What they can bring to the table to contribute to that. What can they do so their partner can be a better man? I think that's a lot better than just teaching them what they should get out of a relationship, because I think that is happening a lot right now. Because in a relationship, especially a healthy one, you'll always depend on the other person to a degree, especially if you have children. What is even the point of having a serious relationship if you can't even trust each other? You want to learn how you work together as a team and not work against each other and ruin your children's minds in in the process. Speaking about children, the role that women had in their children's lives is also almost completely erased. Not the mother who loves them, is watching them and making sure they're okay, but some completely random person at the daycare. Because both parents are working all the time. In today's world, women work like men, have sex like men, and should act like men. Men used to primarily be the providers, and women used to primarily take care of the family.
Now, just to be very clear, there's no real way for women to completely return to the role of being just housewives and mothers. Only simps are believing that. If you've been listening to Angry's content, if you've been listening to my content, you will understand that female psychology, as we begin to understand how women think and operate more, you realize that most women are cheating on the men that they're with. For example, if you're in a relationship with a woman, if she's a young woman, a relatively young woman, attractive woman, in her 20s, 30s, even her in her 40s, maybe even in her 50s, and she's not being physically intimate with you in the relationship, and it's for an extended period of time, it's very, unless you're a really sloppy, lazy guy who's not properly taking care of yourself or doing things that are making you unattractive, that woman would be jumping your bones. I'm just being very, very honest. There are very few relationships between a man and a woman where the woman is not cheating on him and then she's still, and where a woman is not cheating on him and she's not being physical with him. If a woman does not have a women like physical intimacy more than men. This is one of the reasons why a woman can be with 100 guys in a single day, or 1,000 guys. I think there's this woman who tried to do 1,000 guys in a single day. At some point we're gonna have women trying to do these challenges where, like, oh, you did 1,000 guys in a day, I'm gonna do 10,000 guys in like a month. And some girl's gonna try to do 10,000 guys in a week, and I guarantee there's gonna be some woman out there like, okay, I'm gonna try to do 100,000 guys in a year. And then there's gonna be some woman who's like, okay, it's gonna be my goal to do what to be with 1 million guys over like the next 10 years. Like, I'm gonna be with 1 million. And think about this. This just reveals also how easy it is for a woman to get to be to obtain physical intimacy versus a man, where a woman can easily find 100,000 men who will be physically intimate with her at any given moment, but a man the average man has to struggle just to find one woman who will be physically intimate with him. And women call this equality. All right. So you have to understand, men and women are not the same, but at the same time, women crave physical intimacy, and it's very hard for a woman to be physically intimate with just one man unless she has pair bond with that guy. And even then, even when a woman has bonded with a single man, it can still be very hard for her to remain loyal to just that man because of the way social media works with Sims and just all of the options and availability. If she has a better option out there, a lot of the times she's going to look at taking it. This is just how women are wired. Don't think because you married a woman who was a virgin and or at least claimed to be, and she was only with one guy for most of her life, she's going to be loyal. It doesn't work like that. They're still human beings, and it comes down to basically resources and acquiring men with the best resources and that are also the most attractive to them. You know, and there are different ways that they look at attractiveness, including how does the guy make them feel, like scumbags like Poncho, Poncho, Enrique, even Miguel is a little scumbag too. Don't cute little, he's like the sweet Hispanic boy that lives next door. He's a scumbag. All right, he's just getting you ready, so he's just like trying to get your guard down so that his cousin Enrique can come in and rob you. But that's a whole other story. But women, on the other hand, they like physical intimacy more than men. They like it more than men, and men have to wake up and realize this, that never really expect a woman to be fully loyal to you. And there's a lot of men who get angry with me, and they're like, "No, I completely trust my wife." Angry, and you don't understand. If you find a woman you're a fool. You're an absolute fool. You should never put your entire trust in a woman, just like a woman should never fully trust a man. I know you're like, what, Angry? Now you've completely lost me. All right. Couples are supposed to be able to trust each other indefinitely. You should never trust anyone. The only person you can ever really trust is God. And think about this. At many points in many of our lives, we feel like God has betrayed us. There are many times where we barely can trust ourselves. And yet you want to trust a person more than you trust yourself. You want to trust a person more than you trust God. Well, Angry, I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, what are we supposed to do? You're supposed to use common sense and accept the hard reality that you can never fully trust anyone. Okay? Even if you put a lot of trust in a person, you can never put anything past the person. It doesn't matter who it is. You can be with a woman for 30 years and have a great relationship, and just after 30 years she starts creating problems in the marriage. And there were a lot of signs you didn't even realize that she was cheating on you for the last 30 years. You didn't realize that all of these that she was stealing you for the last 30 years and using your money to supplement the lifestyle of another man. All right. You didn't realize that for 30 that over the course of 30 years, those kids that you've been raising, none of them are yours. It's funny because these people, they'll come after me, they'll try to attack me, and then in the end they'll come back to me and say, hey, how's it going, Angry? So yeah, you were right. You were right. It's like, get the hell out of here. There's so many men on this channel that call me Angry Sama, not because of respect, but because of shame, because these were the same men harassing me, criticizing me, and then they come back to me. All right. A lot of times when you see Angry Sam in the comments, these are not the men who respected me. These are the men who disrespected me. And like dogs, they're now coming back trying to find favor with me because there's no one else who understands. I've had baby boomers who said this, that I'm one of the few people, if not the only person, that's ever really broken it down as accurate as this, or gotten as close to what they've experienced in life. All right. And it's in no way is it directing any kind of hate towards women, but it's acknowledging that men and women are not the same, and the way that we think and operate are very, very different. With that said, women are trying to divest right now. They're trying to shift responsibility and accountability to men, specifically accountability for everything. So now the consequences of feminism, women's liberation, are coming forward, and they don't want to deal with that because we see what's happening with Trump right now. We see what Elon Musk is doing. Bro is going wild. Elon is going absolutely wild. He's dismantling the government. All right. And we know exactly what that's going to look like. Elon is like, he has like access to the treasury systems, and he's shutting down like the USAID, so no more internet, it's no more funds internationally. And now they're saying that Elon is getting ready to go audit the IRS. And evidently there's a significant number of agents in the IRS who are behind on their taxes and owe money to the IRS. So even though they'll destroy your life, when it comes, like, there's obviously like some double practice going on there. I just, because if you owe money to the IRS, you're basically paying like compounded interest by the day. It's not compounded by the year, it's compounded by the day. So every single day, the amount of money that you owe the IRS will increase until you've paid that money off. It's a horrible and very evil system that they have going, but it's just the reality of things. You don't want to owe the IRS even a nickel or a dime, and they will chase you to the end of the earth. They will take you, if you owe them 10 cents, they will turn that into $10,000 over the course, like within some years. I'm just being real, because once they slap pen, what you're gonna say? Oh, Angry, you're not. No, that's exaggeration. I'll explain to you exactly how they do that. Because you owe them a nickel, you owe them a dime. They will slap penalties onto that. All right, all kinds of penalties onto that, and those penalties will be in the hundreds of dollars. They will slap hundreds of dollars, even thousands of dollars in penalties on you just because you were off by you owe them like a very small amount of money. And then those penalties will then compound every single day. So within like a few years, like, you didn't know about this, you didn't know that you owe them this money or whatever. Within a couple of years, you now owe them thousands of dollars. Let that go on for like 10 yeyears. Now you owe them like $10,000, and they may even slap even more penalties on. Like, you don't want to mess around. And then these are the same people, evidently, who are behind on their taxes, who owe the state money. And it's like, you have to say, like, they probably have like something going on there where they're not getting hit with the same kind of penalties maybe that we are. Maybe they are, but maybe they're not, because they're the ones who control it. That's the deep that guys that Trump talks about the deep state, and it's like, oh, it's not real, but look at what's happening. These people who control everything, and there's a different set of rules for them and a different set of rules for us. I don't know. It's sick. It's absolutely sick.
Be very clear what your role was based on your gender, in your relationship and in society. And of course, this is not absolute. Also in the old days, women were also working sometimes, and sometimes they even had to. And there's nothing wrong with that. But like I said, it was not their primary role throughout history. The role of being a present mother is not valued in our current society at all. Since women started to work like men, no one took over that role. Both men and women are busy working full-time now, which is insane in my opinion. Women working all the time instead of spending time with their kids is not in the best interest of our next generation. What could be more important than taking care of your own children? I think this should be your #1 priority. Historically, children have always been one of the most important meanings of life for most people. Providing for children and taking care of them has always given people a sense of purpose. But we seem to have completely forgotten this, since recent data predicts that 45% of women between the ages of 25 and 44 will be single and childless by 2030. And this actually makes me very sad. A while ago, I made a video and I used this 38-year-old woman as an example. She never wanted a husband or children until it was too late. She felt very betrayed by the feminist message.
Like, I really did think, like, wow, you've missed your opportunity. Like, you are gonna be alone.
And we can say things like, oh, but that's just your own fault. You just should have made different life choices, blah, blah, blah. And yes, as adults, we're all responsible for our own actions. But I actually do have empathy for women like her, because this toxic feminist message is the mainstream message nowadays. It's hard to break free. It takes a lot of self-reflection, learning how to think for yourself, courage, and maybe even luck to break free from this toxic feminist ideology. Because we live in a culture where this is all completely normalized. And it's not only women, there are also a lot of feminist men.
Do you think a woman can do anything that a man can do?
Oh, hell yeah. Sometimes even better.
Just let that sink in for a moment. And you know, I'm not pretending to have the answer to all of these problems, and everything I just talked about is definitely not comprehensive. There are many more issues we could talk about regarding feminism.
You see, women, they're never gonna leg up. They want basically essentially want all men to be simps. Like if they want you to go out there and protect and serve, and when they have their special privileges while we get our special punishments, and they call that equality because they don't want to take any consequences for feminism. They want us to be simps, and then they call that masculinity, which is something that they've destroyed. In other words, you know, they have all the power, they have all the privilege because they're not fighting to undo everything that has happened or any of these things, and they'll basically just offer you like, you know, like okay, yeah, you know what, we acknowledge that things have gone wrong, but instead of just you guys just throwing up your hands and walking away, we should be fighting for one another. You know, we can fight feminism together, we can fight for one another. Feminism gave us everything that we wanted, now let's fight it together. Feminism gave us everything that we wanted, now let's fight for one another. Get the hell out of here. In other words, you want to maintain your special privileges, so your you know, your special rights, which are special privileges. So you basically maintain your status in the privileged class while we continue to maintain our status in the SLAVE class. And what's wrong with that? And of course, they're not going to say that. They're going to say, no, you don't understand. You just don't understand. Let me explain it to you. It's gaslighting, and of course they want you to remain simps. And these feminist men, these guys are simps. But here's the thing: there are different kinds of simps. There are men who did not know until they woke up. There are men who refuse to accept the truth, and then there are men who consciously know exactly what they're doing, and they basically benefit from destroying from turning on men, from destroying the lives of men, for demonizing masculinity. They benefit from this. It was a conscious decision that they made to do these things, and they benefit from these things, and they are awarded with access to women and access to resources. Okay. Notice that when you have these companies like Ubisoft and BioWare and Microsoft, and like, notice that who are the people, who are the heterosexual men that are still allowed at these companies? The simps. All right, the very weak, like very like very unmasculine soy boys. These are the men who get to keep these jobs. These are the men that remain because they're the ones that help to put help to put, you know, people who are pushing, you know, very toxic messages and toxic ideologies. All right, so they're like, oh, we're a good form of man. Basically, to be a good man for a woman, you have to be a simp. And of course, women will even begin demonizing simps to some degree, while they continue to demand Sims. So they will demonize Sims, but then they will demand them, because male feminists are Sims. Male feminists are Sims, but there are different kinds of Sims, because we were all once Sims, but there are the Sims that just didn't know. They're the Sims that would not learn. And then there are the Sims who they consciously know exactly what they're doing, but it's a choice for them because they choose to betray men. They choose to betray masculinity for in exchange for access to women and resources. Because a lot of these men are men who would never be given access to women in the first place. They would never be hired in certain jobs. All right, they would be considered scrubs. They would be put out. But because of what they've done, they're now given access to women, to resources, and they are given special privileges while men are given special punishments. This is why a lot of Sims can say certain things to women that the average man cannot, because it's a part of their agenda. These Sims have agendas. Guys like Destiny have agendas. Destiny is not a good person. He is not a good person, and the things that he would not want happening to him, he wants to happen to other men. That's just how these people are. And this is the reason why women are demanding that society not treat them like men, because now the check is due, the rent is due, and they don't want to pay up. They said that they would rather the bear over a man, but they don't want to go live with Yogi and Boo Boo. Let me know your thoughts regarding everything we discussed here, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.
Nothing says you care like crypto. Nothing can compare. Nothing says you care like crypto. Oh, nothing can compare to crypto.